Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dorothea Howard, the host of Let's Talk Sarcoidosis, and to my left is my co-host, Mr. Larry Franklin. How are you today, Larry?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. And this weather out here, I tell you,
Beautiful.
it's a
Absolutely
beautiful day.
Yes.
And let me tell you, we have Mr. Wayne Hunter, and I want to say all the way from Delaware. He came to join us to have this discussion today, and he's also a fellow, as I call it, Sarcoidonian. And I would like to say at this time, welcome, Mr.
Welcome.
Hunter, and thank you for coming here today to share your story with our viewers.
Well, Dorothea and Larry, I really want to thank you for giving me the chance to come here and raise the awareness and try to get a few answers from people who actually have this disorder and make it more real for people who have it.
That's true. Mr. Hunter, how long have you had sarcoidosis, and also when were you diagnosed?
I have had sarcoidosis for over 35 years.
Wow.
But I was not diagnosed until 2000. And my sarcoidosis started out in my joints, and I went in to have knee surgery to repair some of the what I call stupidity of youth getting caught up to by middle age, from downhill ski racing and football and rodeo and a few others.
Oh, I love rodeo.
Yeah.
And football.
And they went in, they did both knees, and everything was fine. And a year later, I couldn't walk.
Wow.
So I went back to the surgeon, and he said, that doesn't happen. He finally went back in and did surgery again, and all of the soft tissue on the end of the bone had turned into sandpaper.
Oh my goodness.
And so that happened 3 times in 4 years. Then it started into the feet, the ankles, the wrists, the hands, and then finally up into the shoulders. And after that, it decided that it was going to leave the joints alone for a while and went into my nose and caused swelling of the glands in the nose to the point where I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
And then went into the throat and was choking off my breath. And so I had sleep apnea from it, had to go in and have surgery in my throat to get rid of the excess tissue, to get rid of the obstructive sleep apnea.
Wow.
And then it decided that it really would go into the glands, caused my glands in my chest to swell so large that they actually pressed on the heart and caused heart rhythm problems. So I got told that very big cancer word, lymphoma.
Yes, I think you and,
And
whole community of us have, yeah.
They went in, did a mediastinoscopy, and 3 weeks later I was told, congratulations, you now have sarcoidosis.
Wow, that sounds like our story.
Yes.
So that was 20 years after the joints and all of that started. And then about 3 years after that, it decided to go into the lungs, and I went to stage 4 sarcoidosis in the lungs. And then we finally got that controlled, and then it went into the tear ducts, the ears, and ruined my hearing, and then went back into the joints.
Wow.
So you've had it all over.
You've
your
had
body.
it basically.
It's all over the place.
So when you were first diagnosed, and I know they say normally 90% of the lungs, for sarcoidosis, did you have your diagnosis? Well, was your diagnosis of the lungs?
No.
So it wasn't.
My diagnosis was of the lymph glands in the chest. And there's actually 2 different types of the immune cells that cause the granulomas to form in the body. There's a fixed type, and that is programmed to go to a specific organ in the body, protect only that organ, stay there until it either dies or gets killed by an infection or something. The other type, which is mine, is the mobile macrophage, and that goes into the bloodstream, gets pumped through your body by the heart, and then it returns to the heart through the lymph system, not through the veins. So people with sarcoidosis, when you have swollen lymph glands, it's usually the mobile macrophage that causes that. But that is a very rare type as far as the doctors are concerned, because, as you're aware, sarcoidosis was thought to be a lung problem for 150 years.
Right. Jeez.
So Wayne, how is sarcoidosis diagnosed?
Sarcoidosis is diagnosed by doing a biopsy of the tissue, finding a clump of cells, like Dr. Thomas said, that are called granulomas. And then the doctors have to eliminate all other possible diseases or things that have a diagnosis that cause granulomas before you get the congratulations, you have sarcoidosis.
Wow.
Jeez. That's something.
What other treatments are important for people with sarcoidosis?
The one treatment that the medical people forget is this disease, there's no cure. There are no tests to tell you what it will do tomorrow. There are no tests to tell you how bad it will be. So it is a very serious mental stress.
Absolutely.
And that is not good for sarcoidosis. So you need to treat the mental health, not just the medical health.
And that's a good point. That's a good point.
The other thing is, you lose the person that you were before sarcoidosis. That's grief. That causes depression, which is one of the steps in the recovery process. And every time something new happens, you go right back into that circle again. Not only have you lost you, your close family has also lost you, so they need mental health support as well. And this is information and from an old rodeo cowboy, so this is not a sissy profession.
And what's interesting is a lot of people talk about all the other challenges that we Sarcoidonians have, and we don't really focus on the mental aspect as much as we should.
That's true.
But a lot of times that mental piece is critical to being able to not only to mentally help yourself, but also to get support from your family.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a real, it's very real. It's not just somebody saying something that you need to get some mental health help.
Right.
And also you need to find a person who is familiar with things like multiple sclerosis, MD, fibromyalgia, other chronic diseases.
Right.
Because while sarcoidosis is not the same as these other diseases, the mental aspect of it is.
Right. And we don't focus enough on that. You know, we talk about the illness, but you're right, because I've spoken with many people that said to me that it made them really depressed. I mean, highly depressed. And that's something that we kind of, I think, sometimes skip over about the depression, which that's a major part of this illness or any illness, you know, if I might say that depression is not good.
Well, then you couple that with taking prednisone and the
Right.
mood swings and the things that you deal with that,
True.
then you know, that's can be a challenge.
That is true.
Be a challenge.
Yeah.
Now, the sarcoidosis, is that the only disease that you know of that causes the granulomas?
Oh, no. There are other immune deficiency disorders in the primary immune system where the secondary immune, the macrophages, will come in and try to do the job of the primary immune system. So if you've got an immune deficiency disorder, that can trigger it. There are also things like beryllium and other minerals that can cause granulomas to form. So, and those have tests now that can be done for them. And so by definition, since there's a test and a diagnosis for it, while the granuloma is still the same,
Right.
the disease is not sarcoidosis.
So you're saying the minerals. That's interesting because it's been years ago, but my brother was, my older brother was stationed in Okinawa, and he was having issues, and they said it was the coral or something like that that was causing the issues, and it was some kind of fibrosis of the lungs.
Yeah. Now,
Interesting.
you know, that's the other thing is there are other things that can also cause the fibrosis in the lungs, and they could be irritants and things like that. So they do have to make sure that it is a granuloma in there and not something else. The other real risk that we face every day is that sarcoidosis is such a fantastic mimic for so many other diseases that your doctor has to be very open and willing to investigate any new symptoms. Because I've had quite a few friends online and support groups. I've been in online support groups now for about 12 years.
Well, I know you're really helping the community out there, especially with
And
information.
I've had quite a few friends who said, oh, my sarcoidosis is acting up in my lungs, or my sarcoidosis is acting up somewhere else, and didn't go to the doctor, didn't get it checked, and later found out that it was now incurable cancer.
Oh, my
wow.
goodness.
So, you know, you do have to have a doctor who's willing to listen to you, who's willing to talk with you,
Right.
willing to learn with you, and then you need, and that is your GP, your general practitioner, and they take care of the whole body.
Right.
They don't have to be a sarcoidosis specialist.
Right.
They take care of the body, and they send you to the specialists that you need to see. So then, and collect all of the results and make sure that medicines from Dr. A aren't interfering with medicines
right.
from Dr. B
Right.
or
That's
C
another
or
important
D.
factor.
Right. And
So-
you said,
That's true.
Yeah, you mentioned something about the doctors, you know, but also you yourself have to listen to your body. That's critical too. Like you said, the person said, "Oh yeah, it's just the sarcoidosis acting up." I know for myself, if I get a cold, I get anything, you know, and I'm not a hypochondriac or anything, but the first thing I'm doing is I'm calling the doctor. Hey, you know, I need to come see you because I need to get this. A lot of times, especially men, we don't do that. You know, we want to, you know, oh, I'll take some orange juice or I'll take this medicine and then I'll be okay in a couple of days. I will say this to my fellow Sarcoidonians, especially men. If you have any symptoms, you need to take care of yourself. You need to go to the doctor immediately.
And what would you say about that? The same thing, right?
Very definitely.
Yes.
The doctor is able to figure out whether this is or is not
Right.
sarcoidosis. And I've also had the other side of it, where I had a sarcoidosis granuloma, large one, form on my prostate.
Okay.
And I told my doctor, don't worry about it, it's just sarcoidosis.
Right. Oh, wow.
My doctor told me, wrong, go get a biopsy. Turned out it was very, very aggressive prostate cancer, and had I not gone and gotten a biopsy, I probably would not be sitting here right now.
Wow.
Because the cancer went almost 1,000 times in size in 1 year.
So can you tell our viewers again how important it is for not only women to go to the doctors, but men? Could you please stress that to the viewers?
There is not anyone except your doctor who can tell you whether it is sarcoidosis or cancer or something worse. So if you get a new symptom, first off, your doctor should listen to you and believe you.
Yes.
And if your doctor listens to you and believes you, get that new symptom to the doctor and get it checked. It is not fun and games. This is possible life and death.
That's right.
And we're talking even a cold. Because sometimes a cold can manifest itself into something else. So even if you get a cold, you need to get it checked out.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm glad to be here with you two guys, because we need to reach the men. And the best way to reach the men is through you and you, because
Thank you.
you need to let the other men know the importance of it. And I think, do you think the men are afraid to go to the doctors?
No, it's been the culture that a man doesn't show pain, man doesn't show sickness, because when, you know, even going back to prehistoric men, if you did that, you were dead. So, you know, it's too many thousands of years of ingrained
Right.
teaching.
But that it's a sign
That's
of
it,
weakness
yeah.
or something, but it
Right.
really isn't.
It is
a
not
sign.
a sign of
No,
weakness.
Right.
not
It's
at
a
all.
sign of strength, knowing when you
Right.
have to go to
And
the
being
doctor.
smart.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
what are the greatest risks with sarcoidosis? And I know you touched on it a little bit, so if we can just go back there a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Greatest risks are not listening to your body, not treating the mental aspect so that you're mentally able to fight the disease, because medical science doesn't know how much control the body can be taken over the body by the mind. So you need the mind strength to be able to fight and know when you're not right, and
That's so
get something done,
Right,
check it out, and figure out what's not right.
right. That's true.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about your support group. You said you have it's a over the phone support group.
No, it's over the computer.
Okay.
I belong to 12 different Facebook sarcoidosis support groups. I'm co-moderator in 4 of those. Also, Yahoo has sarcoidosis support groups on there too. So if you don't have a local support group close to you. At least you can reach out and get support. Also, there are on the internet, on some of the sites, doctor databases where we have lists of doctors that actually have more than 1 or 2 sarcoidosis patients, so they have a little bit of experience with it and maybe don't have to Google it in their computer when you
Right.
tell them what you've got.
I mean, it's not funny, but yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So Facebook, I mean, that's so is this something that you do nightly, weekly? You have a support group?
On the computer, I try to check in because I'm involved in so many. I try to check in about every other day.
Okay.
But I get them, I get the feedback into my email, so I can go through my email and figure out which ones are,
Right.
just people chit-chatting and which ones are looking for medical advice, which ones are looking for information about should I go to the doctor, should I not go to the doctor, The other risk is if you get anything in the eye, any changes in the eye, vision-wise, pressure-wise, headache-wise, vision-wise, any blurring, spots, stripes, get to the eye doctor.
Okay.
Eyes do not recover well from injury.
Right.
Get to the eye doctor, get it looked at, and get it taken care of.
Right. Stop trying to self-diagnose
No, there's too many things sarcoidosis can do to the eyes that is not reversible.
Wow.
Also, the prednisone. My statement.
We're on the same we're on the same ship for that one.
Yeah.
Prednisone and sarcoidosis both can cause glaucoma.
Yeah.
So you do need to get regular eye checkups.
Right. I do for myself, that's for sure. What about pain? Does sarcoidosis cause you pain?
Sarcoidosis causes the same nerve pain that fibromyalgia causes. If you have any immune deficiency disorders, those also cause nerve pain. It can cause small fiber neurosis, small fiber neurosis, SFN, used to be called peripheral neuropathy. That is very painful. That sometimes people cannot even stand the weight of a sheet on their feet. And so it'll cause that. It can cause that. It can cause pressure in the tissue that pushes on the nerves and causes pain. It can also put excess macrophages into the spinal discs and cause bulging of the discs, pressing on the spinal cord. It can also take it out very quickly and collapse the discs. I now have 40 inches of steel rods in my back because the sarcoidosis herniated 3 discs and collapsed 7 in 3 years. So I had
So sorry to hear that.
lumbar fusion 1 year, and 2 years later they fused everything from the bottom of my head down to the middle of my shoulders.
Well, see, and I know our time is almost up, but this is why we are doing the show, because for you to come down here from Delaware and all the medical problems that you've had affiliated with this illness, this lets our viewers know just how important
Yes.
this disease really is.
Yes.
Because you use yourself as an example for people to know all over the globe about what it's doing to you. So before we actually go, do you have any local support groups in your area, or just the ones that you're doing that you told us about?
We had a support group in Delaware, but with the internet taking over, we've formed together with a COPD group, and we have one sarcoidosis meeting, and then we have a COPD meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
So is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers before we actually end the show? Because this has been fantastic.
Yes, it has.
Sarcoidosis is real.
Yes.
It's not just in your head. It's also not just in your lungs. But you do have to get the brain into the fight.
90% mental,
Yes.
10% physical.
And on that
Yeah.
note,
Yeah.
once again, we would like to thank you for driving all the way down here. I mean, I totally have a respect for you because of the fact that you did go out of your way, because you didn't have to do this. But we do appreciate
Yes,
you
we do,
taking that
yeah.
trip down the road, and wish you a very safe trip back to Delaware. And as we always say,
We both have sarcoidosis, but sarcoidosis doesn't have us.
Until next time,
be
be
blessed.
blessed. And in this case, it's all three of us.
Yes.